And I'm going to explain to you how the Canadian wage subsidy program is actually going to punish growing small businesses who employ 50% of Canada's workforce. But don't worry, I'm not going to make this too technical. I'm going to dumb it down for people just in case you are a drama teacher who is, say, in charge of the country, you don't know how to do math, or maybe you're in charge of the finances of a country and you're a rich kid who's inherited a big business, so you don't really understand how small businesses work. This video is for you. I'm going to make it for you.
I can see the whole wide world with these two eyes, and I can be whoever I want to be, 'cause it's my life.
Hi, Josh Spurrell from Spurrell and Associates, Chartered Professional Accountants. As always, we are here to help Canadian businesses beat the odds, and I'm going to explain to you how the Canadian wage subsidy program is actually going to punish growing small businesses who employ 50% of Canada's workforce. But don't worry, I'm not going to make this too technical. I'm going to dumb it down for people just in case you are a drama teacher who is, say, in charge of the country, you don't know how to do math, or maybe you're in charge of the finances of a country and you're a rich kid who's inherited a big business, so you don't really understand how small businesses work. This video is for you. I'm going to make it for you. Okay, so the first part we have to understand is there's a couple of different variables here. There is revenue, there is wages, there is overhead, and there is income. I'm going to start with the business that isn't growing, that isn't providing more jobs, and I'm going to call them No Jobs Inc. And we're going to look at what No Jobs Inc. did in March of 2019. No Jobs Inc. in March of 2019 had $30,000 in revenue. Okay, they paid out $10,000 in wages. Say they have 2 employees at $5,000 each. And now they also have $10,000 in overhead. That means No Jobs Inc. is going to make $10,000 a month in the month of March 2019, a year ago. Let's fast forward. Let's fast forward now. We have No Jobs Inc. No Jobs Inc. here in February of 2020, so just a month ago. No Jobs Inc. was still at $30,000. They still only have $10,000 in wages. They haven't grown their employment force since the beginning of time. You know what I'm talking about, the type of company. They have the same 2 employees there. You call up them on the phone. They sound like they're annoyed that you call them. They got someone in the back who's always late, calling in sick. They're not on time with their projects. You know what I'm talking about, successful entrepreneurs. This is not you. This is the companies that aren't growing. Okay, they still had $10,000 in overhead. They've been stuck this way, probably for a decade. They were making $10,000 a month. Now, we get into Armageddon, COVID-19, No Jobs Inc. in March of 2020. Now, their revenue, like a lot of small businesses, has fallen off a cliff. They're at $15,000 a month. They're out by 50%. The revenue's cut in half. Now, the government has come by and said that, hey, we are going to cover 75% of their wages. So that company, instead of paying $10,000 for those 2 employees, is going to pay $2,500 to those employees. Okay? They are still going to have their $10,000 in overhead. That means this company is actually going to make $2,500. Not great, not terrible as some other entrepreneurs are suffering out there. Now let's extrapolate that forward, because this program is supposed to carry out through April, May, June. It's supposed to carry out for 3 months. So we got 3 months here. So that company in the 3 months is going to make $7,500. They're also going to get a forgivable loan of this $40,000 loan, $10,000 of which is going to be forgivable. So they're going to come out of this thing with $17,500 in profits. Not the 30,000 they would have came out in the 3 months, but not so bad, okay? Now I'm gonna go from No Jobs Inc. to a company that I'm going to call Jobs Inc. The same thing, the same variables that we're tracking here: revenue, wages, overhead, and income. Okay, so we have Jobs Inc. Jobs Inc. in March of 2019. They had $50,000 of revenue. They had created 5 jobs in this company. $25,000. They had overhead of $25,000. In March of 2019, they weren't making anything. Now, fast forward. Fast forward here to Jobs Inc. in February of 2020, just before the pandemic hit. This Jobs Inc. had grown their company from $50,000 a month in revenue to $100,000 a month in revenue. Spurrell and Associate clients, you know what I'm talking about here. This is the company that's attending the boot camp. This is the company that's 5 a.m. 6 days a week. This is the company that is getting content out there. This is the company that is using their no-brainer offer to get in front of their ideal and likely buyers. This is the company that is developing value and doing a one-sheet so they can communicate their value for the customers. And this is the company that is doing systems and checklists so they can deliver that product and service at a high value. That's why they've grown to $100,000. Now, what they've also done is they've created jobs. They've gone from creating 5 jobs to 10 jobs. So this company now is at $50,000 a month in salary on 10 employees. Their overhead has grown a little bit, okay? So their overhead has grown to $35,000, okay? At this point, rewarding for their hustle, they are now making $15,000 a month, okay? Jobs Inc., making more money for the owner, creating more jobs, going from 5 jobs to 10 jobs, and as opposed to No Jobs Inc., 2 jobs forever, okay? Fast forward, we have Jobs Inc. in March of 2020. Their revenue has also fallen off a cliff. From 100, they're going back down to 52. They're doing what they can. They're doing deliveries. You know, if they're a restaurant, they're trying to teach online fitness classes to their fitness organization. They're trying to do Zoom meetings. If they're an appointment-based business, they're doing everything they can. But yet, even though their revenue has fallen off a cliff, it's been cut in half, your government, in the infinite wisdom, is going to say they haven't dropped at all. So instead of covering 75% of their wages, they're only going to cover 10%. So they are going to have $45,000 in wage expense. Meanwhile, their overhead, just like No Jobs Inc., is still the same. It's $35,000. Now here, they have $80,000 in costs. They go from making $15,000 a month to all of a sudden now they are losing $30,000 a month, okay? Now, our government has done less to help this one than that. Let's extrapolate that, what that's gonna mean for this person. That person is going to have to suffer through this for 3 months, let's say on the assumption. That's gonna bring them to $90,000 in the hole on this project. And now they're going to get the same $10,000 amount for the forgivable loan. So let's add that in there. Thanks very much. So now this person who is creating jobs, they are now going to be $80,000. $80,000 in the hole of this. Okay? This is how our government set it up. So let's review. People are thinking, this is so complicated. There can't be another option. There is a much better option. Let's review what the government has set up for us at this point. There is a 75% wage subsidy. There is a 10% wage subsidy. There is a $40,000 with $10,000 forgivable loan. Then they also have these mystery BDC loans, which I'm going to guess your qualification on that depends on what part of Quebec is based on how much you're going to qualify for that. And then the part that they're not talking about, number 5, is they're going to have to create a whole new audit department to try to audit interim financial statements from small businesses from month to month, which is an absolute exercise in futility.
Creating jobs during the pandemic, Josh.
Yeah. Wonder where those audit departments are going to be based. Now, we got 4 programs. Simple program. Every single year, businesses file T4s. There's a T4 summary. In it, it says who is EI exempt. The people who are EI exempt are normally the business owners, their family. They're not arm's length from the business. So we exclude those people. Once we exclude those people, we know how much has been paid to arm's length employees, the real employees that we're trying to protect here. We're trying to protect the businesses, we're trying to protect the employees. So what you do is, let's say Jobs Inc. here. Jobs Inc. last year, maybe they paid out $400,000 in wages. Okay? You send Jobs Inc. $200,000 zero interest loan. Okay? That $200,000 zero interest loan, they got operating capital, they can figure things out. Now, if Jobs Inc. pays out $400,000 in wages again this year, that means Jobs Inc. only has to pay back $100K. This program would not take 6 weeks to do. It would give businesses the freedom to make good choices because they're the one that should be making the choices anyway. I guarantee you that our Prime Minister and the Finance Minister, they have no idea what's happening in small business because, you look at how this happens. We're talking about one particular period. Small businesses don't have regular income. I have a good client last year who had a flood in their office at this time. They're supposed to drop 30% below the time period where they had a flood in their office. Big businesses are far different than small businesses. Big businesses, their revenue is relatively predictable over time. Small businesses can fluctuate greatly. And anybody who has grown their business since March of 2019 is going to be absolutely punished on this. Get this out to as many MPs as you can because the small business, the wage subsidy that's been offered in Canada completely punishes small business who have grown their business and created jobs for this country.